Hey, good morning. I'm confident I'm not the only one that's ever had spiritual dreams, but this one I want to talk about. I've had spiritual dreams before, but this one was special because I was getting ready to go to Sierra Leone as a logistician, working with in support of Department of State operations there. And it's funny how everything fell into place. A couple of days or a couple of weeks prior, I get a call from a pastor, and I was working at Dulles International Airport in D.C. and long story, I got cursed out by a vice president of the company, and I quit on the spot. And the HR person ran downstairs and started asking me questions about where do I want to go, what do I want to do, and I quit, completely quit. And that night, I was really unsure. I was like, wow, I just quit my job. Whew. And so the next morning at 4 in the morning, I get a call from a pastor in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I used to go to church. And he said that God placed it on his heart to call me and ask me if everything was okay. And I told him what had happened. And I didn't have a job, and things were just kind of like in limbo, and I wasn't sure of what was going to happen next week. So he gets on the phone and he's praying with me, and it was early in the morning. The next morning, 4 a.m., I get a call from my old platoon commander, Hugh Bettendorf. He was my platoon commander on one of my combat tours. Calls me out of the blue, asks me what I'm doing, and I said, up in the DC area doing nothing right now. He says, well, I'm in Sierra Leone. I'm the program manager. You want to come work with me? I need a logistician. I need somebody to create lesson plans and things like that. I was like, I'm in. It was working with him, and so I was all about it. I went up to DC, into DC, Department of State, got my passport the same day, and was ready to go. I get to the airport, Dulles International Airport. I'm flying United, and I'm standing there thinking I'm in the right place. And there's a guy in front of me, and he's looking at my sea bags, and he's like, wow, are you in the military? I said, no, I'm retired from the Marine Corps. And he's like, oh, well, thank you for your service. And I never was really big about that. So I asked him, what he did, and he was a pastor. Funny thing was that the night before I got there, that night I had a dream that Jesus was right in my door. I opened up the door, and he told me that somebody was supposed to write a book, and in his name. And so I bring that up, and the guy looked at me, kind of went pale. His wife started crying, and the next thing I know, I feel like I said something wrong. I feel like I offended them somehow. And I started trying to break it down, like, hey, it was a really good dream. It was this, that, and they said that that the pastor was supposed to have written a book, and he never completed it. And this was, affirmation that he needed to complete that. I do the tour in Sierra Leone. I come back, and we want to move to Raleigh, but our house is not open yet. So we stay with some friends up in Maryland, and they had set up their basement. No windows down there, completely dark. Boom, go to sleep. I have a dream, but in this dream, it's a gray, like billowing wall. It's just gray, like cloudy gray. And I knew on the other side of that God was over there. I couldn't see him, but I knew I was safe and I wasn't afraid. And the one question that I asked him was, what do we need to do to have our salvation? And God said, he didn't say anything with a word, like literally, he didn't like a voice. He said it with a word. A word just came from behind the wall. And it was in emblazoned white letters. And I kept looking. It was a word that I never used before. And I'm sitting there. Now I'm not in the dream anymore. Now I'm awake. And the words are still up on the wall, just bright white. And the word was acquiesce. 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 It's been in my brain so many times. And this was back in 2009. And so now I'm awake and I'm looking at it and it's still up on the wall. So I sit up, the hair on the back of my neck is standing up, and I'm trying to feel for the wall to try to get myself so I can get around this room. It was that dark. And once I opened up the door to the bedroom, because I knew that I had to go look this word up before I forgot it, before I could forget how to spell it. And when I opened up the door, he had, a computer. The folks that lived there had a computer room, and the lights were on, the computer was on. So I was able to see the light. So I go out and I go in, I get on his computer and I punch in ACQUIESCE, and it pulls up to willingly submit to orders, to freely follow instructions. And that's what I got out of that dream. That led into some other things. I've had a number of spiritual dreams in my life, but it's as if they are all leading into other chapters of your life. Going to Sierra Leone and coming back was a turning point in my life. After that, I began doing some other things, but it led into some other big things that have changed my spirituality. And that happened on September 18th of 2021. That was the day that my mother died. And it's as if everything that happened was procedural, and it happened in steps that led into one thing or another. And since that time, other things have happened, and if you do connect the dots, it's real interesting when you look and you say, God was preparing me way back then for something. And then the meaning behind it after my mother died, it was just big. I'd be interested in hearing if anybody else has had any other experiences like this. I hope to hear from you soon.